Okay. Fisheye. Everybody keeps asking me the same thing. What about a Fuji fisheye? When and if, since homie knows a lot about glass, when and if Fuji ever does come out with a fisheye. Okay, now I know that there's a Samyang with a Fuji mount fisheye. I have that lens, alright? It's the only Samyang lens that I own, and it's the second version. It's the most recent version. Still absolutely sucks compared to this lens. Okay? You can find this lens used pretty much all day long for about $300 to $350. When and if Fuji ever does come up with a fisheye, A, it'll be expensive. Okay? No big deal, right? Well, it is to most people. But it will not be as good as this. You see, the reason that Nikon owns Zeiss's ass on ultra-wide lenses, I cannot recommend a Zeiss lens under 35 millimeters because the distortion and the resolution, they suck. Zeiss never mastered ultra-wide lenses. Their 21 millimeter is abysmal. Nikon's ultra-wide lenses are incredible. Now, Fuji does have an absolutely amazing ultra-wide lens. The 16 millimeter, it is amazing. Okay, if Fuji comes out with a fisheye lens that is equally amazing, which it won't be, because Nikon conquered fisheye lenses, that specific lens. Nikon rules the world over Canon and everybody else on fisheyes, okay? Period. Flat out, bar none. They conquered it decades ago. If Fuji rolls out an awesome fisheye lens, I don't know if you know much about fisheyes, but the depth of field between f2.8 and like f16, it's non-existent, okay? It's like, here's the focus on a fisheye. It's like, okay, there's infinity, there's the closest. If they do roll it out, you know, autofocus is pretty freaking redundant on a fisheye. I mean, you stick a fisheye at f4 or above. Okay, let's just down at f4. I've got a Metabones adapter on this. This is a G mount lens, so you'll need a G adapter. You don't have to buy Metabones. You can get like the $14 K and F adapter for G series lenses. Okay, anything at f4 and above, you're talking about like 5 inches to infinity. Everything's in focus. What the hell do you need to focus? You don't need to focus a fisheye. Sure you do. No, you don't. Stick it at f4 or above, and then everything from 5 inches to infinity is pretty much in focus. So, I've got a couple of these. This one has been cut as far as the circumcised, shall we say. The lens hood has been circumcised so I could use it as a circular fisheye at 220-degree view on a full-frame camera in non-crop mode. But this is the fisheye to get for your Fuji. It is the 10.5 millimeter DX Nikkor. This is a fisheye for DX cameras. This is also a perfect fisheye for any full-frame sensor camera. Works perfectly as a fisheye and full-frame sensor camera. Perfectly. Excellently. Fisheyes, even though Nikon Nikkor makes the best, sharpest fisheyes, especially their 16. I own every Nikkor fisheye ever made, including the really expensive 16mm f2.8 D series autofocus. Even the sharpest fisheyes, resolution-wise, you don't care about micro contrast and saturation too much on a fisheye lens. You care about resolution. Resolution is not insanely high. It's just the nature of a fisheye lens. However, when you take a look at the Samyang Rakinen, like you would think that it would be because the resolution is not that great on that lens. Anyway, if you want a fisheye for your Fuji, this is it. When Fuji rolls it out, it's going to be a lot more expensive than this, and it will not be as good as this, much less better. It cannot be. It won't be. Nikon conquered fisheye technology decades ago. Fuji, with all their magic and all their wisdom, will never come out with, well, at least not in the near future, something superior to this. They just won't. And it doesn't need autofocus. You know, it's like, well, yeah, but it'll be an autofocus system for the Fuji. And I go, who gives a damn? Anything above f4, everything is damn well in focus. Depth of field, you don't know if you know what the depth of field on a fisheye lens is, but you know, it's like, here's infinity, here's closest focus. Infinity, closest focus. Infinity, closest focus. You see what I'm saying that? You know? Doesn't matter where you land on the focus ring, everything's in focus. At f4 and above, pretty much. So, we're not concerned with autofocus. Yeah, that's an adapted lens. It's manual focus. You know, that would be a problem if it were like a normal prime lens, which this is a prime lens, but it's not normal. It is very abnormal. Depth of field is enormous. Depth of field is as enormous as its field of view is. So there it is. Get an adapter and get a used Nikkor 10.5mm fisheye. It works absolutely spectacularly on the Fuji. Spectacularly. Amazing. Okay, that's the answer for the Fuji fisheye. Stop waiting. Fuji may come out with one in a couple of years. Who knows? There it is. Bye. Bum, bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.